It's been well over a year since Wuthering Waves was released, and we were introduced to our standard banner and an introduction to our main cast of Resonators. Amongst these Resonators, we had a Resonator named Verina who came out. The crazy part about Verina is she still is one of, if not the best accessible free-to-play units you can possibly have in the game. Actually, we can scratch that. If we think about it really well, Verina actually is one of the best characters in the entire game. Not that I'm quite sure if Wuthering Waves and the development team behind Wuthering Waves meant to do this, but this is how it happened and is currently happening since the update of 2.0 and the anniversary event of the game. So quick disclaimer, if you are watching this video in the future and maybe Wuthering Waves has more age to it other than past the first year of the game, then Verina may not be one of the best characters in the game. However, she still will be a very strong character, and I'm going to be getting into that in this video. And it really has been like this since the closed beta too. I remember testing her out back then and I didn't really know much about her and didn't know much about what she can do. But since the game has been out for quite a while now and she's able to be used in multiple teams, now we get to see how valuable she actually is as a character in general. It starts pretty much with the fact that she is a support character, and if you are familiar with a lot of these gacha games, support characters when it comes to horizontal investment on an account is always going to be better for the longevity as opposed to investing into a damage dealer who can only do so much raw damage output without an amplifier or a debuffer, just like Verina herself. And the rule of thumb to follow when it comes to turn-based games or maybe a combat influenced game like Wuthering Waves or Zenless Zone Zero, then you always got to keep in mind that the support characters are going to be, if not the most valuable assets to your team, and if not the most valuable, which isn't really normally the case when it comes to these games, then one of the biggest priorities when it comes to your account. Now, of course, this does not mean that all support characters are going to be the best of the best when it comes to these types of games, but Verina obviously is far from the allegations of being a bad character, and at the same time, I don't even know why she's on the standard banner in the first place. However, I am very happy that she is, because it's a very inviting and warm welcome to a very good character that all players can obtain free to play. And even if you didn't want her like I did so myself at the beginning of Wuthering Waves, which by the way was a huge mistake, then you can still lose your 50-50 to Verina because she is on the standard banner. So if you didn't obtain her at the beginning of your playthrough, well, you can still get her, so it's not really the end of the world. Which, by the way, if you like listening to me yap, I am live every single weekend on YouTube and Twitch, so come swing by, and thank you very much. Your support is always appreciated. Now, I played a whole bunch of other gacha games in my whole year and a half of being in the gacha space. I've seen characters that can amplify, debuff enemies, and even provide heals to their team from the standard banner in these other games, but not quite as close as the value that Verina provides to Wuthering Waves as a character. Aside from the sole fact that Verina can send out heals to your team, and for you new players who are just getting into the game, help with your survivability during long fights or boss fights. I mean, even me, I am personally very bad at the combat in Wuthering Waves, and I hate to admit it because I truly do love this game, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get better, as I personally make goals for myself to become a more hardcore gamer when it comes to Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero, and breach that casual gamer type of vibe when it comes to these games. Anyways, not only is Verina a very strong free-to-play unit and a standard banner character that you can easily have access to, she is actually very easy to learn for a casual player. When I was reading up on Verina's kit and studying a little bit about her as a character, so I can definitely benefit from her fully and not just, you know, spam the attack button and not have any clue about what's going on and what I'm actually doing for my team, I learned that the amount of field time Verina actually needs is so minimal that you can focus on your hybrid character, which is your second slot, and your first slot DPS character's rotation, skills, and kit. This process is actually so easy. I do not know how I managed to screw this up for a very long time. All you have to do is swap into Verina, do your basic attacks, pop that resonance skill, then use your ultimate, then lastly drain the concerto from your forte. And with a properly built Verina, you will obviously have a really good echo to go with her, so that way while you're doing this rotation, you can pop that echo real quick, and then your team can actually gain benefits from this echo. Compared to a lot of other characters like Calcharo, for example, and he is on the standard banner, Verina's rotation is actually probably one of the easiest in the game. Did I also mention that Verina is actually very easy for new players to obtain? And if you actually really wanted to as a new player, or for those of you who are looking to make another account, maybe a free-to-play account or a low spender account, whichever it may be, just know you have a total of 3 chances of actually obtaining Verina early. Now, of course, you can do the reroll method where you grind up until you have enough pulls to pull on the beginner's banner to see if you can randomly obtain Verina out of all the standard banner characters that are given to you as a selection, which by the way is only worth it if you are going to activate 2 sequence nodes of Verina, which in my opinion I would have done if I knew about this beforehand. Now you're asking, how can I possibly obtain 2 sequence nodes on Verina? So first things first, you obviously try to roll Verina as your first beginner's banner character. Then if still available, which I'm not sure because it's been a year since I've done it, but Kuro Games did give us a selector that's up to 80 summons to obtain a character of our choice from the standard banner, so you could actually select Verina. And then lastly, as news from the anniversary event, you were given a voucher which you can use to immediately obtain a 5-star character from the standard banner of your choice, leading to you having 3 copies of Verina, the first one to obtain her, the second one for sequence node 1, and then the third copy for sequence node 2, which I know you have in the back of your mind that I could obtain a variety of characters. However, this is why I did mention at the beginning of the video how important support characters are, because getting a sequence node 2 Verina is actually very powerful and more powerful than you probably think as a new player coming into this game. As for the first sequence 1 makes Verina's outro skill give the next resonator who slots in continuous healing effect equal to 20% of Verina's attack every 5 seconds for 30 seconds. Now I know that sounded like a whole bunch of gibberish for those of you who don't really understand the metrics on that, because I'm one of those players that don't understand as well. And listen, don't feel bad, man. I'm learning too. Like, I'm trying to get this down as well. But basically, Verina's healing effect is better depending on how much attack damage that she does, which this alone will help you clear content in the game that you are having trouble with, especially for you new players who don't exactly have a grasp on the game yet. Verina by herself with no sequence nodes or copies would carry you throughout the game either way. So if that kind of helps you gauge how good sequence 1 is, then there you go. Then if you manage to invest into sequence node 2, Verina's resonance skill grants another photosynthesis stack and 10 Kishirto energy, which is very strong for this character to have on your team, helping out the support output she can already do. So if you do decide to not get Verina's copies, then at least you still should obtain Verina, because even without her copy, she's still a very, very good character. And again, a must-have. And of course, this exact scenario is obviously hypothetical depending on who you choose and how many Verina copies you want, or if you want to get other different characters. However, there is still a chance that you lose the 50-50 and you still obtain Verina anyways. So if I were doing this over, I would at least suggest to myself that I get 2 copies. 1 copy of her so that I could actually play her, and then an extra copy to make her sequence node 1, which is exactly where I am currently at, because I did lose a 50-50 on the Carlotta first run, which I was really upset about because Carlotta is indeed my favorite character in the game up to date. So currently my Verina is sequence node 1, and that is from 2 50-50 losses, because at the beginning of my playthrough, I didn't even go for Verina or even consider her as an option. But had I done that, I would at least have Verina sequence node 2 as of right now. And I'm going to be completely honest, the 5-star characters that I had got at the beginning of my playthrough, I don't even use now till this date. Now, I don't mean to defame the other standard banner characters in the 5-star selector. It's just that Verina is just that good. And to even back up the argument that Verina is not the best character to pull in the standard banner, we can just bring up the terms vertical investment and horizontal investment. Horizontal investment is when you build your account off of characters that will hold longevity and have multiple uses across a whole bunch of teams and value your account in a very positive way. You know, the kind of character that kind of stands with everyone and is friends with everyone and knows everyone and can literally work with everyone. That is what Verina is, a horizontal investment. To break it down even easier for you, horizontal investment equals versatility. While on the other hand, vertical investment is somebody who is a lone wolf, kind of a character that really focuses on themselves and how strong they can get by themselves. A 0 to 100, kind of like somebody who wants power immediately and doesn't want to wait for the power. Horizontal is like the safe road, while vertical is like the risky road. Now, vertical investment on my account is like my Camellia, who I have at sequence 1, where a better investment could have been putting my sequence 1 on Shorekeeper instead, because Shorekeeper is one of the most powerful support characters in the entire game, much like Verina. Having another copy of Shorekeeper will benefit my account as a whole, leading to horizontal investment because I could put her on multiple teams, while having an extra copy of Camellia as an instant power up, making her damage more and do more damage as a DPS character. However, can only work with a certain amount of characters before there's not really much team she can work with, leading to less versatility. Now, with that example out of the way, how does this exactly pertain to the standard banner? Well, there's a bunch of standard banner characters on the standard banner that don't really have that longevity that Verina provides as a horizontal investment. A lot of the options on the standard banner are actually vertical investments and would only get you so far before you swap them out or you want to look for something better. And when I say want to look for something better, when you want to summon for characters like Zani, Cardathea coming up, or maybe Lupa, those are all more flashier characters that you want to put in your arsenal over somebody like Encore or maybe Calcharo. Now, again, this is not me defaming the standard banner characters, and this does not mean that you can't have raw skill as a player to make these characters work. It's just more of what is better for you as a beginner or what is better for your your account so that we can focus on other things. Hence raising the question, why is she even on the standard banner if she's this good? So not only is she easy to access and multiple copies at that, not only is she easy to utilize and she's very beginner friendly, and not only is she a must-have and way too good for the standard banner, there's one more thing that I have to argue with the fact that she's way too good for the standard banner, and that is Verina's weapon. And it boils down to the whole fact that her rectifier, her best in slot, is not even a 5-star weapon. Now the best in slot rectifier for Verina is going to be the S5 variation, and the reason why this is the best in slot is because not only is her rotation so easy to learn and is very quick, this rectifier will cut down that rotation even shorter. And the reason is because the variation restores Concerto energy by 16 for Verina when she has it equipped, and the variation comes with energy regeneration as well, which will help Verina in the long run. Now the second option is going to be the Call of the Abyss, which is another 4-star rectifier that any player, and I mean any player, can obtain. It is a free-to-play weapon, and the way it's acquired is through Renaissance Exploration Quest, which gives you a great amount of energy regen and extra healing bonus upon casting ultimate for higher sustainability. Now those are my thoughts and my reasons on why Verina should not be on the standard banner, but she is, so we should take full advantage. If you did enjoy the video, smash that like button, comment your thoughts, smash the subscribe button so you never miss a video, and catch me live on Twitch and YouTube every weekend. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.